I'm Ben Horslen. I'm the editorial director in the Puffin fiction team. So I work over in the Penguin Random House office at 80 Strand, and I edit fiction from sort of 5 all the way up to YA. Well, day to day, there's a bit of everything. That's the sort of the lot of editorial, I think. So we sit in the middle, if you like, sort of the centre of a wheel, and so we have to talk to the sales team, the marketing team, the publicity team, all the other departments about all our books and what's happening with them. So that's probably the biggest part of the job. Actually, I think sometimes people imagine editors sitting reading all day, but sadly it's not the case. But there is that element of job too, of course. So I'm getting submissions in from agents and authors all the time who want me to read their latest hot book and hopefully think it's brilliant enough that we'll want to take it on for Puffin. The best thing is never knowing quite what's going to arrive in your email next. When you get a book that sort of comes slightly out of the blue and you start reading it and you get that little thrill and the goosebumps and the hairs up on the sort of the back of your neck. And that is the thing about that. I mean, there are busy times of year when agents like to send sort of hot manuscripts before the Bologna Book Fair and the Frankfurt Book Fair, but it can come at any time. So every time you get a new email, that might be the next big thing, which is really exciting. The worst thing about my job would almost certainly be the fact that even when you get those brilliant books, you don't always necessarily win them for your company. So that could be quite sort of frustrating if there's a book that you've totally fallen in love with and you want to try and buy it, and the author just has a better click with a different editor or a different publishing house, and there's nothing you can do about it, but you just think, oh, I love that book so much, and now someone else is going to work on it. And that's just sort of part of the course. You win some, you lose some. But yeah, on a day where you lose one, that's a bad day. I got into publishing completely by accident. I moved down to London not long after university, and I was planning to go to drama school. I was going to be an actor, and I took a job that I thought was going to be I thought it was going to be a temporary job, but it was in a magazine, and I thought it was editorial. I thought it was writing, and when I got there on day one, it turned out to be cold calling sales. So day one was also the last day I spent in that job, and so I needed very quickly to get myself a new job. I had a flat and sort of rent to pay, and so I emailed a bunch of friends who were living in London then saying, quick help, I need a job, and actually 2 of them by chance came back with the same thing, who'd been working on it, said talk to this woman who we've worked with over at a publisher called Marshall Editions, which they used to publish illustrated reference books. And so I sent an email to Ellen, who was the editorial director there, and basically sort of said, hey, I'm Ben, I need a job. And she gave me 6 weeks temporary work as an editorial assistant. And that was how it started, and from there it sort of rolled on. And I never made it to drama school, and here I am now. I think I wish I knew it was possible to move sort of between disciplines. So I started with that stint at Marshall Editions there. And in fact, I should have realised, because my next job I worked in magazine publishing, and I worked in magazine publishing for quite a long time. And it was only after I'd done that I went back into books and went into fiction. And of course, within 6 weeks of sort of starting that fiction job, I knew this is absolutely what I wanted to do. I wanted to work in fiction, I wanted to work in children's fiction. And I sort of wish I'd realised sooner that it was possible to jump around. But as I say, I should have done, but I didn't, so that would have been good to know at the start. I think for me, it's probably the first book I bought when I moved to Penguin a couple of years ago, which was Half Bad by Sally Green, which was one of those books exactly as I described earlier. It's sort of I read it, and within 10 pages I knew it was completely special and totally unique, and I wanted to be the editor. And luckily enough, I was able to buy that book for Puffin, and then it's just been a bit of a sort of fairy tale from then. the rights team have sold it in 51 territories, I think now, and it won a Guinness World Record for the most number of rights deals before publication. It was just, it was one of those things. It's sort of one of the books I think that only really comes along once or twice in a career. So it was sort of seize it with both hands. And Sally's been a joy to work with on it, and everything about it's gone really well. So I'm pretty pleased about that. It's the unexpected. I sat yesterday. I was having a quiet Sunday at home, and I'd been reading some manuscript submissions for work, and then I thought, well, do you know what? I'll just start Bring Out the Bodies, because I read Wolf Hall last year, and then I've been watching the TV, and I'm now getting a bit worried that the TV is going to overtake the book. So I thought, I'll just read a little bit. And then 4 hours later, I'm still on the sofa. Dinner hasn't happened, and I'm just reading this book. And that, I think, is what I love about books most of all, is they can come and take you by surprise.